Flawless of the NASL Season 3, actually a little bit more as he won a lot of games in the regular season as well. Of course, people always get $150 for every single game they win in the regular season of the NASL. So I guess when you make it to the final and you win 6 or 8 games, almost $6,000 man at Red 1 this season.
It's not bad for a few weeks of work, Kev. Not bad at all.
But so far, rocky start in Season 4. As we currently said, Red right now holding on to a 1-2 record, but with 2-2, anything is still possible.
Yes, he can still recover, and I don't think it's all that unlikely. He's one of the most talented players in all of Western esports, and I do expect, you know, this is I expect Red to have a very long and storied career, man. He's going to continue to win games and win tournaments.
Currently, of course, living in the Ministry of Wind. For the people who did not know that, Red, yeah, being part of that gaming house in Poland looks like a fantastic gaming house. Of course, there was a little bit of drama as well, but man, we ain't gonna focus on drama. I would love to visit it myself one day just to see what they're doing over there. And as far as I know, a lot of really good players are living in that house. As Titan, of course, the Russian Protoss player, is living in the same house as Red now as well. Should be awesome, man. When you have an NASL game against a Protoss player coming up, you just tap your neighbor on the shoulders like, hey, Titan, let's play some games. Now that's some decent practice, man.
That's a fantastic practice, Kevin. Rhett did take his third base as his first expansion. Now we have to assume that he'll send some lings over to that third to make sure that nothing tricky happens. But well, Arthur did have a probe in position. I thought maybe, just maybe, he would attempt to cannon that base, but it looks like he thinks better of it, realizing that Rhett is, of course.
I think it's pretty smart that he didn't do it, Ben, as he also already invested 100 minerals in this pylon to block the natural. If you're already going to let a pylon finish here, because basically if you want to go for a serious attempt to cannon, you're going to have to let this pylon finish, otherwise you can never build any cannons up. So that would already be a pretty damn big investment, 200 minerals early on. Just imagine like what that can do to your cybernetic score, basically any timing that you could potentially have in this game.
And a lot of players sort of adhere to the philosophy these days that if you build a pylon and 2 cannons and the only thing you kill is a hatchery, it's almost not worth it already because you've invested more resources into that attack than the Zerg player did.
And because you delay your own timing so extremely much while doing that, the timing that you would normally hit to perhaps punish a Zerg for having that base later on doesn't really work anymore. So by the time that you can actually hit him, he's already recovered from having that hatchery a little bit later. And it's even worse when you don't actually kill the hatch and they just cancel it, then you're really quite far behind.
Fast 3 bases for Rhett. Very standard looking Zerg versus Protoss action here, as Arthur is also doing pretty normal stuff. Went Forge first into Nexus, into a couple of gases. Of course, it's pretty difficult to tell exactly what Arthur's going to do at this point in the game.
Red has to be sort of careful with his Overlord, man. He still has it lurking around over here, but there's no sweet spot like on Daybreak, for instance, where you can just put the Overlord on the high ground and keep a close eye on these Vespene guys. So he doesn't really, he can't really keep it there. The Stalker is already halfway in production. It would be quite sloppy to end up losing that Overlord now. Red is going to send it away right now. This is kind of annoying for Zerg play though, because it's really hard for them to keep a close eye on the gases of the Protoss. And wow, this is the last thing I expected with a Protoss play, even though it's just 6 minutes and 12 seconds into the game. So this is not like super early or / late Stargate, or that the gases are very late. But still, it's hard for a Zerg player to put the pieces together.
Yeah, Red's going to have a real tough time scouting this. He doesn't have any Overlords anywhere near this Stargate, and
oh, this is a really good scout. He pokes in with the Overlord once more and sees at least one of these simulators being wiped in. He couldn't really go far enough to see the second one, as he wants to keep this Overlord alive, which I think he will. He shoot. New Overlord speed, man. It's so fast. Look, it's blazing. Whoop.
While this is happening, Kev, we got a little bit of Zealot harass up in the top half of the map.
Doesn't matter.
Kills a single drone, and the Overlord does get away. So
well, that was an exciting race. The Overlord's still alive, man. There is a probe over here on the map as well, while we have a Void Ray in production for Arthur. I'm a little bit surprised by that, as I expected Phoenixes on the map this big. Phoenix is, of course, a lot quicker than Void Rays.
Makes you wonder perhaps if Arthur is planning something
together with gates.
Yeah, something aggressive, as we do see one more gate going down.
But he never researched +1, and normally when you want to do something like that, even though we haven't seen those strategies for quite a while, but those Void Array openings, most of the time they go together with Zealots with +1, because otherwise the Zerg player can just make a lot of Zealots, and as soon as speed is ready, it's very awesome that your Void Ray can kill a few Links. At the end of the day, the Links are going to be way too quick for the Void Ray. And if you lose all your gateway units, queens can just deal with the Void Rays.
In fact, what we are seeing out of Arthur is Void Ray. Phoenix, he is going to go ahead and make a couple of Zealots out on the map. So he has some intentions at harass, but this isn't crazy amounts of aggression. We do see +1 starting up. And a Robo. Man, Arthur's just doing it all.
Arthur is doing it all of 2 bases. It's okay, man. He's not super all in with this yet, as he has a sort of a backup tech, but he does have to deal some damage over here. This is already 65 drones against 47 probes, and it's been like this for a while. So if Arthur is not going to at least kill a few queens or a handful of drones, he's going to fall behind quite badly.
Now, there are no spores down just yet for Red, so he's going to take at least some damage from this initial little bit of harass. Zergling's easily dealing with the couple of Zealots that are sitting across the map.
Can he transfuse? No, he doesn't have the energy for it.
Yeah, first queen's going to go down. Ooh, if he kills the second queen, that's going to be quite good. Spore Crawlers will end up finishing. But 2 queens is pretty much worth it. That's going to really limit Rhett's ability to inject and manage his larva. Move that Void Ray, Arthur. Taking a lot of damage there. A couple of roaches already out. In fact, 10 roaches. Man, Rhett drones up so fast. Like, 70 drones, man.
There's a reason why they sing about him, but Red never found that pylon over here on the right side of the map. He had an idea that it was there, but was not able to find it. He's gonna end up losing a few more Overlords, might lose his Overseer as well. Maybe one more Queen. He should just park the Queen below the Spore Crawler right now. He's not doing that yet. Was waiting for this Spore Crawler to finish.
I think this Queen's gonna be just fine. Maybe not. Phoenix is gonna get the job done. Well done there by Arthur. Void Ray does fall though. That's kind of a little sloppy. Still going to persist with his queen harass.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't think this is all that good for Arthur. Now, of course, this looks sort of okay as he's picking up so many queens. But at the end of the day, guys, all those queens, all that they cost is 150 minerals. Yes, they slow Red's production down for quite a bit. But Red is already at 71 drones, so he doesn't really have to produce anything. And during all this, Arthur has shown no intention of going up to 3 bases. So, well, actually, wow, he already dropped the Robo Bay.
And 3 more gateways, Kevin. It's
sort of like the old Rotofood.
Sort of looks like the Roddy build of old. Not quite as refined. He's only on a single Robo.
I'm going to have to talk with Archer about this, Archer. Archer, we can be much more abusive. 5 infestors are in production now. On this map, Ben, it's kind of annoying, I guess, for Zerg to spread creep. And also certainly after losing all those queens. So creep spread is very important in dealing with any sort of 2 base aggression for Protoss. Now we do see him up going to 3 bases, but Ben, that's 11 minutes and 50 seconds.
That's a very late third, Kevin. Yeah. And Red, not only that, Red's going to scout it almost immediately. So
yeah, what I'm most worried about is that Arthur is going to be on 1 Robo as well. And now the Robo units are the real key to holding off a lot of roaches and infestors. Certainly Colossus deal with the infestors and Immortals deal with the roaches. Now Sentries can deal with roaches to some degree, but this is also kind of hard to force with all of. This is such a wide area where Zerg can attack.
But scouting that is really important for Red, because now he's like, oh, well, you took this kind of late third base. That gives me some time to add a few more drones and secure this 4th. So so Red's going to be able to really have like that sort of ideal late game saturation where he's going to be up over 80 drones. He's got his hive halfway done. Arthur can't move out right now, Kevin. He's going to need at least 3 more Colossi.
No, not after investing in his base. There's just no way. And if you want to do something on 2 base, that would have been possible, but then he should have been already fighting by now. That's not the case. He's warping in a 2nd Robo, so that's at least looking sort of bright. Red has a lot of links on the map.
Yeah, looks 71 like he's setting up some serious multi-pronged aggression here.
Oh, great fungal by Red.
Oh, yes, it was a fantastic fungal. Catches all of these Phoenixes. At the same time, though, Red lost basically every Zergling on the left side of the map. I guess it's worth it. I mean, Phoenix is much more valuable than Lings.
You can see the unit's lost resource step is almost even right now. So all the damage that Phoenix is dealt, Ben, is in 1 move, it's all gone, sort of. Red, as you said, he did lose quite a few links. I wasn't looking at it as I was looking at the Phoenixes. He had around 71 links. He has only 31 links remaining right now. So he lost a good amount of 30-40 links, but I can live with that. Dealing with 4 or 5 Phoenixes is really nice, certainly because he's producing an insane amount of Corruptors right now, and knowing that your Corruptors will only attack those Colossus, and of course they always should only attack the Colossus, but the Phoenixes, they help out quite a bit in the fight, doing some DPS on the Corruptors and whatnot. Even though they are not amazing against Corruptors, you could even say the opposite is true, they're kind of bad. It's still nice to have them there because it's some guaranteed damage. That damage is gone right now, and the moment that Red is going to be able to melt these Colossus, he should have free reign over Arthur's army.
Kevin, I want to talk a little bit about just how much Zerg play has evolved in this matchup. As we see more and more players really delaying, if not skipping, roach production altogether and just investing all their resources in lings. Here comes Red. He's going to try to make something happen here in the third base. Colossi going to fall incredibly quickly, but the Zergling's dying pretty fast as well. Look at the infested Terrans going down. Wow. That's going to make defending in this exact location pretty difficult. Arthur might have to back off of this, although this is some pretty good force fields.
Pushes are very good actually, and despite killing all the Colossus, Red is not going to be able to finish off Arthur over here. One more Colossus is joining in the fray right now as well, so that wasn't too bad for Arthur, as he ended up losing the Colossus, but he didn't really lose a whole lot of Stalkers and Sentries, or Immortals.
Yeah, but you know what? Red can just go make the Broodlords now. He can make 10 Broodlords easily, and he's reset the... Where are these Queens going?
To this 5th base, I think, but yeah, that's a little over-eager.
He's reset the Colossus count, which is... Oh, man. Here come the Broodlords. 9 Broodlords instantly in production.
During all this, it seemed like Arthur wiped in a couple of Zealots on the right top side of this map, took out that hatchery in the right top, so that is pretty good during that fight. Wow, that's a really weird position to morph your Broodlords, but I guess Blink is not... Well, yeah, actually he does have Blink, Ben.
Gonna catch a couple of drones here, and will we see the big offensive Blink? There are infested, and there is that big Blink, Kevin, and immediately we're gonna see 1 or 2 Broodlords fall, but they finish building just like at the most perfect moment possible. And so many Stalkers are going to fall here, and all of a sudden Arthur finds himself terribly overextended. He's going to lose just massive amounts of his army there. It does clean up a lot of Zerglings, but I don't think that was worth it at all.
No, if he would have maybe done it 1 second quicker, but it's really hard to make those calls. It looks like you see a couple of Broodlords exposing, you're like, you might be able to go for it, and then the moment you blink below it, you get swarmed by Lings and Broodlings as soon as those Broodlords are ready. At least Ben Arthur is comfortably mining off 3 bases right now, and Red did end up losing a lot of infestors, and killing that base in the right top side of this map at least gave Arthur some hope, because if Red would have been on 5 bases, this would have been a different story.
Ling's still running around trying to find exposed or overextended units, but Arthur does finally kind of stabilize and starts to regroup. 8 Broodlords out for Red. He's still got a great economy.
Okay, 7 more infestors on the way, and that's really going to put Red in the position that he wants to be in once more. It's going to bring him up to 10 infestors, and 10 infestors should be able to protect 8 Broodlords pretty damn well. Absolutely.
Certainly when there's this many Lings on the ground supporting. 43 Lings out right now, and 40 more in production. That's going to be 80 Zerglings with Broodlord Infestor overhead. So very, very dangerous Zerg army pressing forward here. Arthur trying to take a 4th base right now. If he can secure that 4th base, things are going to get a lot better. Oh, like this, a little Void Ray action. Not Void Ray, Warp Prism action.
Perhaps a big engagement over here as well, Ben, as the Stalkers are getting closer. Great fungals over here by Red, but I feel that this is not Red's entire army.
More fungals going down as Arthur does try to blink forward. Will the Broodlord ball be strong enough? It looks like it just might be. Lings do so much damage on the ground. The upgrades, just fantastic. 2-2 upgrades, allowing the Zerglings and the Broodlings to just do exponential amounts of damage.
And he does get the fungal. He's going to lose 1 or 2 infestors, 3 infestors even.
Absolutely worth it. These Colossi are totally pinned.
Oh, poor Colossus.
There is no escape.
These Colossus, they do not have a midlife crisis, but they have bigger problems.
This is called an end-of-life crisis.
They're like, well, don't know where to go. Can't shoot up laser.
That's one of them.
Malfunction.
One of them does get away. Maybe he'll buy a Harley Davidson later. As Broodlords continue to come forward, and this time it might be Red who's overextended. Not many Broodlords in that army.
Kill the Colossus, Red.
And the Colossus will fall, and that was basically the only thing that was holding these Zerglings at bay.
Probes. Okay, all these probes are going to fall immediately. Wow. Red lands 1 fungal as well. Yeah.
Fighting with probes, they just die so fast as Red's Zerglings decimating whatever Arthur throws at them. Great play here from Red, just beautiful play. As Arthur, with a very much never say die mentality here, is going to continue trying to fight. But I think at this point we can see pretty clearly that this game has spiraled out of control for him. Red is on 5 bases, and he just has infinite money and infinite production.
Trying to micro his Blink Stalkers for his dear life, and might actually be able to keep a couple of them alive, Ben, as he walked in a few Zealots now as well. But he did end up losing that 4th Nexus. It's also crucial 4th Nexus, because if we look in the main base, minerals are gone. Ben, if we look at the natural, it's running very, very thin. A couple of fields on 20, 40, 60. Some have 100 or 200 left, but...
This is basically a 1-base Protoss, Kev, and Rhett he has so much more freedom in his production. He's working on his +3 upgrades. Arthur's basically stopped upgrading. He can't afford it. He's at +2 attack, +1 armor.
4 links, they've been here for so long. Oh, interestingly enough, Arthur on this moment decides to warp in the fleet beacon ban. While he keeps harassing this right top side of this map, use this pylon to warp in a couple of zealots.
Rhett's going to try and pop out a couple of roaches. I guess that works. There's nothing wrong with that. Roach is always a very strong unit, but his upgrade's not really very roach-centric. He does have +1 ranged attack, so that's something. Here comes Arthur with what's probably going to be his final push of the game. Where's Rhett's army?
Really great fungals, but all that Red has right now, Ben, is a couple of lings and roaches. He really needs to take care of these Colossus. Infested Terrans will maybe get... no, actually they're not going to get it.
Making a pretty strong push here as Rhett's just kind of running in a line, 1 or 2 units at a time. And that's not the right way to do it. Infestors don't want to do that either. Rhett giving Arthur a little bit of an opportunity here as Arthur's army. All
that Red needs to do though is just take care of that Colossus, Ben. He's going to have like 80 links soon. He has 48 now. He's going to have 32 more soon. He needs to kill this Colossus.
Still, he's running in a bit haphazardly. Colossus getting focused. It does fall, and that is the real key to Arthur sticking around in this game. Every single unit with that Colossus being killed is going to end up falling, and that will be GG. Well played, says Arthur. Rhett takes game number 1. Oh, he was really dominant the whole way through, honestly. I mean, that was nicely played on Arthur's side, but Rhett was just ahead of the curve there.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that he opened up with the Void Ray on this map, Ben, because I feel it's such a big map that the Void Ray didn't really deal a whole lot. Yes, he wanted to support the Phoenixes with a little bit of gateway aggression over there as well, but that didn't really work out. What I liked the most by Red was the fungal on those Phoenixes, because it helps out so much. You could just see in the next fight, the moment you can just fly those Corruptors in, they can sort of idle above that army, because if the Stalkers only shoot at the Corruptors, the Stalker numbers were not high enough to deal with like 10 plus Corruptors. So that was a good move. After taking care of those Phoenixes, he could just do that, took out all the Colossus. What I'm a little bit surprised by as well was the timing of that third base by Arthur. I felt that he could have done that a little bit quicker. Certainly after killing 5 or 6 queens. You can do that around 10 minutes, 10:30. If you want to play it greedy, hoping that your opponent is still sort of macroing up, you can even do it at 9:30, but like 12 minutes is really quite late.
It was a very late third base. A very good play from Rhett. That last game brought to you guys by Audible.com. You can read your own bestseller today, and you can get it at a very deeply discounted price if you head over to nasl.tv/p/audible, where you can pick up your special offer on your own audiobook. We're going to take a very quick break, then we'll be back with game number 2, Rhett versus Arthur. Don't miss it.